Good morning, Muscatine. It is Monday the 13th. It's kind of like Friday the 13th looking out there. It's kind of gross. It still looks like December out there. I'm going to be stuck in December until probably June, but that's okay. We have, well, I don't know how to describe it. We have 5 black shirted matching. I don't know what are you guys like? Did you dress like this on purpose? You just like walk around everywhere, all matched up and.
I mean, we kind of do sometimes. We don't plan on it usually. Well, I guess we do. For our chapter meetings, we're here, but yeah.
So there is actually a reason. This is the Wilton FFA leadership. I guess could we call you leadership? Would that be safe? Yeah, I think that's safe. And they have an awesome story to tell us. But first of all, let's do this. If you guys would just introduce yourselves and what your role with FFA is, because most of them have like their titles on their shirts and everything. It's like a real thing here, folks.
I'm JC Weiss, and I'm chapter president.
I'm Madeline Thede, and I am the chapter treasurer. I am Caitlin Thede, and I am the chapter's historian.
I am Savannah Miner, and I am the chapter sentinel. I'm McKenna Rocco, and I'm our chapter's reporter.
Okay, nice to meet you all. We've met before, like last 2 weekends ago now.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you got to present the Wilton FFA website for us
Yes.
during sectionals, which was pretty good.
Thank you.
Go check it out. Just type in Wilton FFA, you'll find it. So I'm curious. I know what 4 out of the 5 positions are, obviously, right? Miss Sentinel in the back. What is a sentinel? Like, shouldn't you have like weapons or something? Are you like the weapons master?
No, I help the president keep order, and I just help wherever I'm needed. There's not really a specific role. I just do whatever.
So you don't get weapons.
No weapons.
How do you keep order without weapons?
A gavel.
Well, that could be a weapon.
Oh, yeah, it could.
All right. You guys are no fun. Okay, so seriously though, they do a tremendous job up there. Their advisor, a lot of you would know, Mr. Day, who was down here in Muscatine for a long time. This is his finishing up his first year up there, correct? Yeah. So he's at school doing something, I guess. What's he doing that was more important than this?
Well, today we have a special guest coming to our classroom for crop insurance because Mr. Day is actually teaching a crop production class. So
Gotcha.
they're learning about crop insurance today.
Wait, you guys have school this week?
Yeah.
Oh, Wyatt's on spring break. I guess I just assumed you guys were there. So wait, are you getting out of school to be here?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's not fair. I'll bet our next guest would have something to say about skipping school for, yeah, we'll ask her about that when she comes on. You're not getting into MCC now, you're skipping school like that. I'm gonna shut up now and let you guys talk. So JC, tell us about the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow overall program contest, what it is, and then what you guys decided to do. It's pretty neat.
So we've done this in the past. We've done it, I'm not sure how many years, but I don't think any of us have ever done it. Our past advisor, Mr. Bruns, has done this before. So when we got ourselves into it this year, we're like, oh my goodness, what are we doing? We went up, we knew that we had to have an idea of what we were doing to help solve for tomorrow and create a better future, especially in agriculture for us since we're with FFA. And Caitlin came up to us, she's like, hey, I've been spilling grain, or I've spilled grain this year when it was during harvest. And she's like, we need to find a way that we can solve this problem or help the whole industry, because I don't want to spill grain. My dad keeps yelling at me, and I've heard other farmers have this problem. So we just kind of went through it and thought of different ideas that we've had, and she's like, well, what if we have a sensor, and it'll tell us how close we are to the semi, and we'll just go from there. So what questions do you have about that, I guess?
Well, so Caitlin, let's start here. Tell us about, so let's assume that one person in the conversation has 0 experience on the farm. I'm guessing that's probably me. What are you talking about? Spilling grain? Like, we're not talking out of a bowl in the kitchen, right? So what are you doing when this problem like occurs?
So during harvest, when you're like harvesting a field, the combine dumps into a grain cart, and then the grain cart will dump into usually a semi. So this year, this is my first time, like it was my first time running grain cart by myself and like unloading into a semi. And so I wasn't very good at like lining up this, the tractor and the grain cart to the semi. So I actually ended up spilling a couple times. It went like over, so like I would overfill it, or I wouldn't like, or like the, I don't know, the auger would be like pointed out too far and I'd spill over top of it, or I'd shoot it and I'd miss the grain cart or the semi completely.
Oh, so this is like where it's like shoot, like
Yeah.
it's like okay, got it.
So like when it comes out of the auger, it goes into the
Yeah, it looks like a snowblower kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with you now. Okay. So basically you could name the snowblower. Is that
Basically.
okay?
Well, we had bought in a new grain cart, and this one you can like move it around and tilt it up and down. So figuring that out was a little difficult, especially being short and not being able to see. So I think with the idea of having a sensor would be really helpful to those even learning how to drive grain cart and learning how far or how close you need to be to the semi. Because there was a couple times where I got too close to the semi and about side scraped it. My dad doesn't know that though.
He does now. I hate to tell you that because I'm sure they're all going to be watching, right? Yeah.
They should.
Okay, so pull it next to it. So what is the sensor? Well, actually, okay, so you came up with the idea we should have a sensor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then what do you do after you guys figured out you need a sensor?
So we actually just gotten our sensors in, but now we have like a little monitor that our Mr. Day had already had. So we have to program the sensors to the monitor, and then like we have to figure out like where we want to set our sensors up and how we would use where we would place the monitor so that it'd be able to see it when you're sitting in the grain cart. So right now we're planning on making a video to show what it would do and how beneficial it could be.
Gotcha. So essentially you're just kind of hot wiring to start off with, you kind of like hot wire some sensors together, test it, see how it works, because I'm guessing you'll probably want to adjust and everything else.
Yeah.
And then okay, so you've got that, you get it working. How does that then tie into the project? Do you like submit a video of your concept, or like how does that work?
So we have to create a storyboard for our project, and then we have to make a video showing using our sensors. So like we'll have to like get a semi and a grain cart and show how like dumping in the grain into the semi. So we'll have to use our sensors to show how close you are or how far away you are to help model our sensors and how we use our software.
Gotcha. So when do you have to have that all done by?
April 5th.
April 5th. So it's like coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Right now we're in the planning stages of our video with the weather, clearly. Since it had just snowed, the ground's not technically hard enough without making a mess everywhere. So we're waiting for a good day to come around to be able to film and get all that stuff ready.
So are the sensors working?
Yes.
You didn't sound confident. Are the
Well,
sensors working?
They're working, but we still have to figure out, like with all of our connections and stuff, with connecting it to the monitor, because there's multiple sensors, so we have to connect them all to one monitor that we can have. So we're still playing around with that and seeing
Gotcha.
what we want to do still.
But overall it works, you just gotta like refine
Yes.
it. Well, that's awesome. So what will you do? So like the contest, if you win, what happens? Do you get any, like, is it just like woohoo, way to go, Samsung says, or?
So if we do advance, 4 of us will be able to go to New York on Samsung's expense. So they will be paying for 4 of us to go to New York, which means only 3 of us and 1 advisor.
Is that why my phone's so expensive? Is they're paying for you guys to go to New York?
I mean, maybe.
Figures.
But I think that if we win at the national level, we get like $100,000.
Well, then go win.
That's our intent.
Okay, good. So after this, you guys are kind of coming towards the end of the school year. What does FFA have? What else do you guys have going on the rest of the year?
So for the rest of the year, like in the summer, students will like show at the Muscatine County Fair.
Great.
But other than that, we have
So yeah, we have a lot of different things coming up, especially in the summer. One big thing is the fairs.
Right.
Obviously, I'm pretty sure everyone has been to a fair of some sort. We have a lovely co-op program that we are kind of, I don't know how to say it, redesigning, I guess. So we're looking forward to getting all those students out there. So if you live in town and they don't have places and they can't keep animals in their backyard, they can keep them out at our farm. And we're looking forward to kind of seeing how that goes. And again, like Caitlin said, just seeing everyone at the fair is going to be something that we're looking forward to.
And actually, if I remember right, isn't there some stuff about the co-op on the website?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can go out. It's actually really neat. Wasn't it like one of the first? Yeah, so this is 2-week-old information in my head, folks. So don't quote me on details.
So we actually have the first ag farm, or the first FFA farm in the state of Iowa. So that's a big part of our chapter that we're really fortunate to have. So that was one of the things that I really wanted to put on the website. We have a Townsend Foundation that has funded an ag truck for us. So that's been really nice to have used around the farm. Also a livestock trailer. So that makes it really easy to take pigs or goats or lambs to state fair. It's always a blast. But they also have donated an 8,000 bushel grain bin. So it's easy to keep it on site and everything. But yeah.
So you guys are going to be busy.
Yes.
So that's awesome. Good luck. Well, and congratulations for getting it to work, first of all. Like, that's awesome.
Thank you.
And I'll just tell you this, you know, just seeing what you did with the website, what you're doing with the sensors and the whole, keep going. You guys are doing the right thing. I couldn't do anywhere near that when I was in high school. Like, I made it up the steps and I was happy, right? So keep up the good work and keep us posted on how it goes. And we'll see you guys out on the other side, maybe. How's that sound? Awesome. Well, thanks for stopping in. We'll take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back with some MCC Legends.
Okay, guys, we've been through a lot together. We all know sometimes it gets hard, but it's okay to not feel okay. You know what helps? A good book or going for a walk. Not now, Fred. But what really helps is to talk to someone. Because to take care of each other, you gotta take care of you. If you need to talk to someone, your doctor will listen. Unity Point Health. Know how much you matter to this world.
We just don't work out in a single plane of motion.
We've all been through a lot together. And along the way, you'll find out who really cares for you and who you can trust. Because there's a lot of stuff that happens in life. Like those days when the amazing happens. Or those days that are really, really hard. That's why you need someone like Unity Point Health. Because when it comes to your health, you gotta have someone you can trust. Unity Point Health. Know how much you matter to this world.
Hi, I'm TJ Deere, General Manager here at...
Okay, guys, we've been through a lot together.
Oh, welcome back. I don't know why Chris keeps pointing at the camera like we're live. I should maybe stop laughing and goofing off and, I don't know, host the show. So we're back. We have an awesome program to talk about next, which is the MCC Legends program and the event coming up. We've got, well, I'll just let you guys introduce yourselves for the folks at home. Go ahead and...
I'm Naomi DeWinter, and I serve as president of Muscatine Community College.
I'm Derek Saville, and I serve as president of the MCC Alumni Board.
So
you have two presidents here with you.
well, technically, I'm the president of Pearl City Media, so
All
it's like
presidents here. We're going to have a presidential conversation.
all we need is John DeBeat, who got the presidential award, and we'd be set. The Legends program. Let's talk about overall, what is the concept behind it? For those that didn't go to MCC, I did. I assumed, head of the alumni, so I kind of figured. So there's some really, I don't want to say amazing, really influential and significant names who have been recognized as a legend. So give us a little bit about how long you've been doing it, who some of the past ones were. You're going to recognize the names.
So we started our first Legends program in 2018. And Chris, you're right, that what we wanted to do was tell the stories of these amazing people who've had an impact on Muscatine Community College, but also on Muscatine, the area as a whole. And many times those two, are almost the same thing. And so what we're doing with the event is featuring the story of why this person or these particular people are legends, and Derek can talk about who we've honored in the past. That's one piece of the event. The other piece is we want to highlight the amazing restaurants in our area, and so the Merrill Hotel has allowed us to have about 10 restaurants there that offer their food in a Grand Salon style, so you can try something from each of our local restaurants, and that too shows just the diversity and the delicious things that we have to offer here. And then it's a fundraiser so that MCC alumni and the foundation can continue to support our students from here on out. So Derek can talk a little bit about who we've honored in the past.
Thank you. Yeah, we began in 2018 where we honored Stan and Helen Howe. In 2019, we honored Roy and Lucille Carver, big names, Muscatine, of course. 2020, it continued with Marv Krieger and Evelyn Shallon. Evelyn was also a longtime member of our alumni board. And gosh, that might have been one of the last events we had in Muscatine prior to the COVID pandemic, because it was sometime in February. And I mean, we literally shut down, I think, maybe the next week. So the Merrill was great with still, allowing us to have that thing to happen as things in the world were kind of beginning to get a little strange. So therefore, we did not have an event.
Understatement. That is the understatement of the last 5 years. Things got a little strange.
We did not have an event in 2021 then because of that. Right. And in 2022, we kicked it back off with Jeff Armstrong, who was a former president at MCC as well, and had a great story to tell with his overseas work. And yes, I mean, the list of alumni from MCC that just have really impacted not only this community, but the world is just quite amazing.
I'm grabbing the microphone here because I want to tell you about who we're honoring this year.
I was just going to ask.
Okay.
You got it.
So this year we're honoring Max Allen Collins. He has just such an interesting story, and I've been able to interview him, his wife, his son, and several of his friends and collaborators. Part of what we do is we produce a documentary of all of these people, and we're working on the one for Max right now to show why we believe they're legends. Max's career, I think many people know his association with Road to Perdition. So his graphic novels were then made into a movie that featured, superstars, Paul Newman, Tom Hanks, Jude Law, you name it, they're still stars today. And I think speaking to him, that was really a breakthrough, in his career. But he has written over 100 books. He's written comic strips. He had the Dick Tracy comic strip for, I think, at least 15 years. He's written video games, worked on jigsaw puzzles. With a collaborator, Matt, he worked on film novelizations of the CSI series. So he's had this incredible depth of career, and what I'm learning is Road to Perdition was not, luck. It wasn't a one-time thing. Road to Perdition was a result of his starting to write. Even at the age of 3 or 4, he remembers, scribbling into a book. Until today, he's still working on 5 or 6 projects a year. He works 5, 6, 7 days a week, writing, contributing. Just this creativity has to get out in some way. And then he's also a rock band member. He has a band called Cruisin'. And actually some of the music, the guitarist and the bassist will be playing at Legends for us.
Nice.
The rock band has been inducted into the Iowa Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's been existing since the 60s. He practiced at MCC. And just kind of tying it back to Muscatine Community College, he was a student at MCC. He graduated from MCC just like Derek did. He was a faculty member, and I know people like Bob Albee have had him as an instructor. His wife went to MCC and graduated from MCC. His son Nathan came to MCC, and his father, Max Sr., taught at MCC. So there's all these MCC connections that I think are also really important. And the fact that he was able to make his career based in Muscatine, he never moved, is, I think, just a really, really terrific thing.
Yeah, and it's, a lot of people, so, his son was a little behind me, a couple years younger than me in school, and my mom actually worked with him. She was like a room mom and, all that stuff. And, the thing that always intrigued me about Max is you walk up to him, you can just literally say hi, and you're going to have a conversation with him. You have no idea what you're going to talk about. Like, it could just be anything, but it's going to be amazing, right? Like, the breadth of his experience is huge, and there's always something he can contribute. Even if sometimes he kind of just hangs out and listens, when he says something, it's going to be this insightful, I don't even know how to describe it. He has the words I don't, obviously, right? So maybe I should have taken his classes. So when you recognize someone as a legend, are they, how do I want to say this? What do they have to do? Do they get forced to do anything? Do you get them to do anything cool, stick their hands in something fun? Or do they get it pretty easy with you guys?
Well, I think it's fairly easy because most of them have a pretty long, deep story to tell. And so the big part about it is I think they're probably kind of surprised, mostly pleasantly, when they're chosen.
Right.
I don't think we've had anybody turn us down yet. So, and then there's an interview process, much like this, where Naomi will sit down with them, people around them, family members, and just take hours and sometimes hours of conversation, Q&A, things like that. And then it is all cut up and put together in a very nice video that gets shown that evening. And then that individual also gets a table at the event where he or she can bring family members, people closest to them, etc. So that's about it. I don't even think we really make them speak if they don't want to.
They don't have to do a dunk tank. No dunk tank. No.
But most of them get up and say something after their video, is done, and it's just a nice night to be in, a top-notch hotel with that room overlooking the river and get some cuisine from great businesses here in town, restaurants, and it's just a nice community event.
Well, the one thing, of all the folks that have received the Legends, the one that I know the best would be Marvin Krieger, from my time out at Krieger's. And, the one thing, I'll be honest, when I started there, I actually worked at Krieger's while I was at MCC. And, Marvin was older at the time. This was 20 years ago. I mean, he was the senior, obviously. And he was kind of in cruise control mode, right? And, at first, when I first met him, I was like, man, because he was always like funny. Like he always had like this a little bit of a sharp sense of humor, I'm like, man, this guy, okay, And then the more I listened to him, I'm like, man, there's a lot of info in there. Like you just, again, the GM stories and just the community stories, and just like I always looked forward to the days that he was still there when I got there, because he had time to talk and I was answering the phone and doing some other stuff. So, I could sit there and listen, and you're like, how did you know? And then you hear the story and it just all comes together. And I think each one of these names is one of those types of people. So I'm curious, if you've interviewed all of these, what was the most surprising thing for you to learn from one of them? Like, or the thing that you went, oh, like the biggest little surprise?
Well, because I'm in the middle of working on Max Collins, I think the most interesting thing is he's a freelance writer. And so he has to continually work to get his stuff published.
Yep.
And so people aren't doing that for him. He is doing
Yes.
that for himself. And I think, the drive and the entrepreneurism that he has established was something that I hadn't thought of before. And I think that's a tie to Muscatine too, because we talk about Muscatine as the city of entrepreneurs, right? So he has made this life for himself. It's come through hard work and diversification. He's not just writing Dick Tracy, right?
No.
He's
Yep.
doing all of these different things. He was writing graphic novels when graphic novels weren't even existent.
Yep.
So, that foresight and just the, taking some risks to try jigsaw puzzles and to try writing video games, not just sticking with one genre, I think was the biggest surprise that I'm learning right now.
Well, and from what I know of Max, again, I don't know him well, but I think in the conversations, the few I've had with him, I think he would almost have to, because his interests are so, like, it seems like anything could interest him. And so I think in some ways it's this, like, I'm following what I'm interested in and what hooks me, and then I'm figuring out how I can take my skills and turn it into dollars to live off of, right? And that's just Muscatine. You go back to H&I, and like, we need jobs for guys coming home, and we're gonna bend some metal and make some, card cabinet things, and then some file cabinets. It's the same story. And I do think, there's a culture here of entrepreneurship, and I think it's learned. It's like you see enough of it that it just kind of becomes ingrained in you a little bit. And that's one of the things I will say, even about my time at MCC, is it was always encouraged, right? Like, it was always, whether it was, the entrepreneurship days, or which, I get to participate in on both sides. So you guys have done a great job of helping nurture that culture in the community. Because a lot of kids, and adults, whoever, students in general, have those ideas. And a lot of times it's not that hard to get going. You just have to kind of drive. Like, the steps aren't hard, but you've got to push through them. And I think MCC gives a nice launching pad for a lot of that. So, okay, so let's cover the event real quick again. Remind everybody what we've got.
So the event is Thursday, March 30th
Yep.
at the Merrill Hotel. And as you've both discussed, I think anybody with an interest in Muscatine, or anybody who has heard Max's name, or anybody who may have not known the depth of his skill set, if you've just seen that movie Road to Perdition and knew that he had a tie to it, you would have a great night at this event. So it'll be the evening of the 30th. Tickets are still available. If you go to the MCC website, there will be a link there to take you to a site called Eventbrite, and that is where you will purchase the tickets online. And that includes, your seat that night. That includes your ability to, watch that great film that we'll put together on Max. It allows you to have kind of a smorgasbord evening of our great restaurants here in town. And as she said, all the money raised, comes back into the college. And I can speak from the alumni board perspective that it is probably our biggest fundraiser of the year, and it really allows us to do what we do, which is cultivate, those relationships with young kids. All of our money goes right back into student groups at MCC to help them attend conferences or get needed apparel and things for their groups that they're in, et cetera. So it's really a full circle event that starts with the product of what our graduates become, which are just legendary folks.
Well, and I would be remiss, and I'm probably going to get a text here in a little bit that I haven't brought this up yet, but the one thing that I think is great about MCC, totally going off the rails here for a second, is the video department you guys have, and the fact that you guys can do this. I guess I should assume Chad's helping with this. Yeah. So, having that ability, hosting an event like this is great, right? But because of the AV video department that between you guys, Power and Water, the city, the school district, I don't even remember. I mean, like the county, yes, basically everybody, right? In one way or another. That resource is there. The studio, Chad, and you can do stuff like this that just enhances the quality of the event, and it also helps document these stories for the future, which is huge. So.
Yes, Chad has been greatly involved in all of these, and I think his expertise what we really want to do is shine the spotlight on the legend, and his expertise helps us to do that.
Yeah.
I think the other really important partner, we mentioned the restaurants that we select from the area, but also our culinary department really comes to our assistance, and they the culinary department, which now works out of the Button Factory, or where the Button Factory used to be.
The Community Foundation.
The Community Foundation, yep. So we have that shared space, but those students will provide the dessert for us.
Nice.
And so they're working on what that is, and they'll help to serve. The culinary students from the Scott program also come down, and so it's really a time for us to showcase that training program and their skills and their entrepreneurial spirit as well.
So I think that is a lot. That's like drinking from a fire hose today, folks. I always do this at the end because it's, for me, you got to sum it up real quick. So basically it's Legends, it's the last Thursday of the month, the 30th, correct? Yep. Get your tickets online at MCC. You'll end up at Eventbrite. Can they get tickets at the door?
Yes, they can get tickets at the door.
So if you're like me, you'll probably forget. You're still fine. Just get there, right? It's the Merrill, the big one downtown. Can't miss it. And you're going to see an amazing Muscatine story. You're going to have amazing Muscatine food. And you're going to go home happy to live here. Like I really do believe that this is one of those things that you go, oh yeah, all right, this is good. So, well, thank you guys for swinging in.
Thank you.
Really
Chris.
appreciate it. We'll take a quick break, and then we have a surprise couple of guests here with a very important message for you.
Okay, guys, we've been through a lot together. We all know sometimes it gets hard, but it's okay to not feel okay. You know what helps? A good book or going for a walk. Not now, Fred. But what really helps is to talk to someone. Because to take care of each other, you gotta take care of you. If you need to talk to someone, your doctor will listen. Unity Point Health. Know how much you matter to this world.
We just don't work out in a single plane of motion.
I don't know if I'm supposed to stand or sit anymore, folks. I'm confused. It wouldn't be Monday if Megan Francis wasn't here, but as you can tell, this isn't Megan. We have Betsy. Betsy, what do you have to tell us today? There's something going on, right?
Yes, there is something going on today. We are selling raffle tickets for Crossroads and Senior Resources.
Gotcha.
It's for a paid trip for a spring break retreat at Branson, Missouri.
Awesome. And do you know where people can get tickets?
Well, today is our last day here.
Okay. And here, the produce entrance at Hy-Vee, they've got a table right inside, big green.
Big green Crossroads sign.
Yep.
It's like right next to the floral shop in Starbucks.
You can't miss it. You can't miss it. No. And so, how much are the tickets?
Tickets are $35 for one and six for $200.
6 for $200. That sounds like Megan math. That isn't 6 times 35. Oh.
Yeah, it's a 6 bundle for $200.
So basically, buy 6.
Yes, buy 6
That's
for
right.
$200.
Awesome. So, are there prizes besides the Branson trip? Nope, just the Branson trip. That's okay.
Just the Branson trip. But you can take 7 of your closest friends, so it seats up to 8 people.
Oh, there you go. So there's the extras. All right, awesome.
And when is the drawing?
The drawing is February 17th.
Okay.
And it will be
March
17th.
You're taking after me. I still think it's December. Don't feel bad.
March 17th, and it will be on Facebook Live.
That's right.
And we'll be announcing the winner on St. Patty's Day.
Are you going to be all green?
I think we're going to be in our Crossroads green.
Oh, yeah, Crossroads green. Of course. Of course. How did I not see that coming? How did I not see that coming? How did I not know? Well, ladies, thank you for stopping in to tell us about the raffle. Megan, is there anything else you want to add?
I will just add that people can get tickets at Crossroads
Okay.
or Senior Resources.
Yep.
And then tomorrow we'll be at Applebee's for their Together We Care Tuesday. So we'll have
Gotcha.
tickets there for lunch and
Okay.
supper. And then, or you can message us on Facebook if you need us to come
Yep.
to your work or find another way to grab you a ticket. So
Awesome. Well, ladies, thank you again for stopping in. Muscatine, get out here, stop by Hy-Vee, pick up your $1.99 avocados. You should have been here last week because they were $1.59. Get them before they go up again. That sounds bad, but $1.99, they're good avocados, trust me. And we will see you tomorrow. I should check that before I start talking about it because literally last week I should have known they were on sale for $1.59.